Hello and good evening to everyone joining me right now. It might be evening for some of you if you're in Africa. If you're not in Africa, it might be good morning or good afternoon to you. My name is Solomon Izangi Shams. They call me Uncle Solomon, as you can see. Thank you so much for joining me this time. In Solomon's Temple, this is where you are, and we talk about everything, concerning our faith. We try to interrogate, investigate, and bring out some hard-hitting issues that would question the way that we practice our faith. Are we really following biblical principles and values? Is that what we truly do? Or are we just, talking the talk and not walking the walk? Is that who we are? How does our faith affect other people? As a leader, as a pastor, prophet, apostle, how does your faith, the way that you conduct your life, affect the next person around you? That's what we're going to be looking at this evening. And I see quite a lot of people joining us, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us. And I'm sorry, I have to apologize for starting a little bit late. Now, I have quite a lot of people, even from Los Angeles. I got Andrew in Los Angeles. Thank you, Janet from Kenya. Peggy from Zambia. Thank you, Tsakani, as usual. John Peary, all the way from the United Kingdom. Thank you, Emerald from Lusaka. Thank you, guys, everybody. Terry from Fleming Island, Florida, in the USA. George, thank you, bro, all the way from Malaysia, I think, if I'm correct. Kidibone from Pretoria. Isiri from Central London, watching live. Thank you. Oh, wow. We got a lot of Europeans today. Sebastian, all the way from Paris. Bonjour. Nora from Maryland. Thank you, guys. There's a lot of people that have been waiting. Alas, from St. Lucia, the beautiful island of St. Lucia. Thank you, everyone. I'm not going to waste so much time because I believe this is an issue that we have to dive in straight in and really look at it and talk about it. And it is very unfortunate when we are leaders, leading a congregation, leading a church, and we stray away by ignoring the responsibility that has been given to us or abusing the responsibility that God has delegated to us. When we have a flock, a sheep, a congregation, members, we need to take care of each and every one of them, notwithstanding their gender, notwithstanding their social status and communities. In our society, we have to treat everybody as equal. And this sad story that we're going to listen to is an ongoing story. And the victim that I have today to share with us is not only the first victim. She is one of the numerous victims. And it's no wonder South Africans, when they look at pastors from Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya or Malawi that are in South Africa, they tend to have some sort of a negative, some South Africans, not every South African, tend to have some sort of a negative vibe around pastors that are not local, that are not from South Africa. And sometimes I do not blame them, in as much as I just feel that sort of judgment is very unhealthy. You cannot classify everybody because they are from the same country, in the same bracket. You deal with everybody as an individual, not as a nation. But this case revealed one of the reasons why some South Africans feel not so good around churches led by Nigerians, or churches led by a Ghanaian, or churches led by pastors who are not just local. There is some sort of a distrust between them, that sort of relationship. And an incident like this is what has caused a lot of this. Now, I want to bring in my guest. My guest is Lucia Lutando. Lucia, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, before we even get to talk to you, let me just talk a little bit about, I want you to tell your story, but let me talk about a little bit about the man that we're going to be talking about, that we're going to be discussing about, just a little bit that I know about him. Now, his name, he calls himself a senior prophet. He calls himself a senior prophet. Now, this is him. He calls himself Senior Prophet Kizito E. Amadi. He leads a so-called church called Disciple Church of Christ. He called it a land of miracles and testimony. He's located in number 127 Claim Street in Hillbrow in Johannesburg, South Africa. He's originally from the eastern part of Nigeria, from the city of Owerri in Imo State of Nigeria. You can see him there in the church. This is him praying for people, laying hands on people. This must be as recent because you can see people wearing masks. And this is also him right here, kneeling down, obviously in the church, ministering, and this is him. This is the official logo of the church, and this is the name of the church, Disciple Church of Christ, DCC. And he is said to be the senior prophet. They call him Senior Prophet Kizito Amadi. Now, Lucia, how did you end up in this church? Let's start from there.
Okay, I joined the church. It was in 2016, 17. I was invited by a lady from church. A lady from inside came outside and invited me. Then I went and joined in the church.
And? Are you there?
And I joined and I became a member.
Yeah,
I joined and I became a member for like a year. And then I became a worker. I was an usher just for a few months. And then from then on, he removed me from the ushering department. He said I must join the media department. So after joining the media department, that's when he got to have access on me. Because now the media department works hand in hand with his office.
Okay. Now, what attracted you to the church after visiting, and you decided to make the church your home church? Why? What was the attraction for you?
Okay, when we first joined the church, my mother was very sick to the urge that when we are going to the hospitals, they are not able to cure her. So it got to a point where we even lost hope, and we thought that maybe we might lose her. She had a leg cancer. So we got to the church, and the men of God prayed for her on the first Sunday that we entered, and she was healed, and her health was also restored completely. So after all that, I just thought, why not make it my home? Because at the moment I was not worshiping anyway. So since they could heal my mother, I felt that maybe this is the right church. That's where I belong. Then we all decided to just reside there.
And your mother is healed until today?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you decided, because you saw obviously a miracle happen in the life of your mother, and you were serving at the media department. What was your responsibility at the media department?
I was the leader of the media department.
What do you guys normally do with the media department? What are some of the responsibilities that you do?
We take pictures, we take videos for the service, we handle all the social medias for the church, and yeah.
What was your relationship with this pastor? From when did you start getting close to him, or him getting close to you, that he noticed that you were part of the church? And what sort of trust?
On the first day when we came in, on that Sunday when my mother was healed, after the healing and everything, he requested to see me and my mother in the office after the service. And then we went to the office after the service, and then he told my mother that I'm going to become a great woman. I'm going to be someone that is going to be known. I'm going to be an evangelist. I'm going to travel all over the world. And then he told my mother that his health is restored completely. And then he mentioned that I must serve God because there is something that God has for me. So I must serve God. I must become a worker. I must make sure I'm in church every day. So from then on, that's when it was just a father and a daughter thing,
Mm. So
Yeah.
it was a father and daughter things. You felt you could trust him, and you didn't suspect anything.
No, I did not suspect. Little, I did not even think that.
And you are 22 years of age. He is about 20, 34, 39, 40 or so. Um,
Yeah.
and and he is unmarried. Let me make it clear to everybody here. He is unmarried. He is not
Mm.
married. He doesn't have kids, I believe.
Yes.
And he's unmarried and without kids. And did you think he was attracted to you in any way, or maybe sexually, or he was attracted to you for a relationship, or you were attracted to him maybe also?
No, I did not have any thoughts like that. I was not, and I believe that he was not also, because I looked at him at the spiritual father angle, nothing else. So I never had those thoughts running in me.
Hmm. Now, until you send your mother a message,
Mhm.
and this is what you said to your mother. You said, "This thing has been eating me and killing me inside. It's been happening for too long now, and I'm tired. I want you to believe me because it happened." In 2017, Prophet deprived me of my dignity. We were in church. He called me and made me sit on his lap, and then he started brushing me and told me that he will be gentle. Ma, I was scared because that's the same thing Ubaba wanted to do to me. He tried, and then in 2018, he took it by force. We were in the office. No one was at church. He literally took my virginity, Mama. I wanted to confide in you, but I was scared. He made me to swear not to tell anyone, Ma. I got pregnant and discovered it after 3 months. I told him that I'm pregnant, and he made me to abort, Mama. I was pregnant of twins. Prophet made me to drink something to terminate the babies. I broke down a lot, Mama. He will be sleeping with me, forcing me. If I say anything, he will curse me. I was scared, Mama, but after fishing out, I was actually not the only victim. This is quite a lot of intense words from you. Your mother, the first time she got in touch with me, sent me this. And when I read it, I was really sad. Tell us about what happened.
Okay. So it was 2017/2018. We were in the office because by then already I'm already in the media department, and I'm also working in his office as a secretary. So we were in his office. It was after the workers' meeting. Usually every Monday we have workers' meeting in church. So he actually waited for everyone to leave after the workers' meeting was done and everything. And then he called me in the office and he asked me to sit on his lap. I don't know, but there was just nothing going on in my mind. I went and sat on his lap, and then he brushed me and told me that I should relax. And then before you know it, he attempted to kiss me, and then I tried to fight him and all that. So on that very first day, it ended up in a fight, and he never managed to do anything. And then on the second day, he still did the same thing. So on that second day, he literally took my virginity. And then after taking it, he just acted like everything is normal to him. Like, I don't know, but he just literally acted like he had the right to do that. And when he asked me, he said to me, "Was it painful?" And then I just looked at him and I responded to him and I told him that yes, indeed, it wasn't painful. It was painful because he took it by force. There was no agreement. I mean, I was 18. I think I was 18 or 17 then. He took it by force. There was no agreement. And then time went by. He will just literally call me in his office and pretend like there's church work that we need to discuss. Before you know it, he's forcing himself on me. And then he's going to penetrate and all that. And then I fell pregnant. And I didn't know I was pregnant, but then he knew. And he said to me, "Your face is changing complexion, this and that." And then he said to me, "I must go and test." I went and test. I used that Kia Blue test that states how many months pregnant you are, because that's the one that he told me to go and buy. So I went and So when I saw that I'm 3 months and I went to the doctor also to confirm, because he asked me to go to the doctor. I went there and they also put me in a sauna and I saw that I was pregnant and the doctor mentioned that it was 2 embryos, which was twins. I told him, and then that same night he made me to drink a substance. I didn't know what was that substance, but he told me that it's good for detoxing the body. That was what he said to me. He said it's good for
Mm.
detoxing the body. And then I went to I went home and then I could feel some crucial pains on my abdomen. And then on the next day, I told him what I was feeling when I was at home because he asked me. And then he told me to go to the clinic and abort. I need to abort the child. I can't keep this child. He gave me excuses like you are still in school because I was in matric then. He told me that you are still in school. We don't want people to suspect this, and that. So he just gave me the money, and then I went to the clinic here in Hillbrow. It's a run clinic. I remember the doctor I went to and everything. So that doctor is the one that has my medical reports. I
How
did
old
the
were you when
abortion.
that happened?
I was 18.
18, okay.
Mm. So I did that and terminated and all that. And then I came back because the first termination, it's like there was some complication that happened because I got sick, like literally sick for 2 good days. And then I was informed from the clinic that I must abstain from sex because I never mentioned that I was actually raped. I didn't tell them that I was actually raped. And then time went by. After a week or so, this man will just call me and say he wants me to do some work for him, some church work for him. He will call me in his lodge and say he wants me to bring some church files for him because I was his secretary. So, I was handling most of his stuff. So I will go to his lodge. When I get there, he will start just forcing himself on me. Till date, there was no name in this thing that was going on. There was no relationship going on between us. I just felt like he would just call me whenever he feels like he wants to release himself. Whenever he feels like his tank is full and he wants to release, he will just call me. And then in 2019 or 2020, last year, I'm not so sure, between the 2 years, I fell pregnant again. And
So
then
that
when I
that's the
told him that,
second time you getting pregnant by him.
yes, yes.
The first time
And
was a
then,
set of twins, which was terminated.
mhm,
Now you are, that was, you were
mhm.
18. Now you finish high school. How old were you then? 20, 21?
Yeah, I was 20 going to 21.
Okay.
I was 20. Yeah, I was 20 years because in our culture, when you are 21, they do a grand 21st and all that. So I was 20 and then I got pregnant. And then he told me that I will run away and go to another country. And then I'll tell my mother that I got a scholarship and the scholarship made me to travel. I told him that to hell with everything that he's saying, because firstly, he wronged me. Instead of him manning up and calling my mother and telling him what he just did to me, he doesn't want. And then he made me to stand on top of the Bible and swear that I will never speak to anyone concerning this. And then he cursed. He said, if I speak or tell anyone this, I will suffer for the entire life. My mother will get sick and die. So when I told him that I was pregnant, he told me to run and all that. Then I told him that I won't be able to do that because I was still doing my university. I was in university. Then he told me that I must go and abort, just like that. And I aborted the second pregnancy again. Still the same doctor. So on that second time when I was 20, the doctor asked me, why do you keep on aborting this way? It's not good. I now explained my entire story to the doctor that there is a so-so pastor, though I never mentioned the name of the pastor, but I mentioned the church and where the church is located. And then the doctor asked me, how am I planning to run away in all this? I said, I do not know because this man has trapped me. He told me that this concerns my life. If I speak out, I don't even know right now since I've told you what's going to happen to me. Because this is what he was constantly saying, that if you speak, you will see what will happen to your life and everything. And then when I was 21 towards December, I told him that I don't want to continue to do this thing. If you will keep on forcing yourself on me like this, I'll end up speaking up to my mother. Whatever that happens, I don't care. If my mother dies, it's fine. I would have spoken out. And then he told me that he was going to stop. He won't do it again. But funny enough, this year, January. He did it. He literally forced himself on me. And then when I fought and fought and fought with him, and then he penetrated, but then um I left the place because we're in his apartment. I literally left the place and ran away. And then I switched off my phone. When we get to church, I was not interacting to him the way we used to interact even before people, because he has this thing of pretending and all that. So I was just keeping a straight face for him to see that whatever that he did, I'm up to here. I'm tired. I'm really sick of it. And then on that same Sunday, he took me and put me in front of the church. The clip is still on Facebook. I can just send you the link so you watch it. He put me in front of the church and told the church that I have marine spirit. The church must pray for me because I have marine spirit. Apparently now I have marine spirit because I did not do what he wanted me to do. Since he got used to the fact that he would just be feeding himself on me and forcing himself on me. So just because I decided to put a stand, he told me that I have marine spirit. And then I just got tired and everything. And then I decided to leave the church. So till today, still telling people that I'm under marine spirits.
I wish I knew about that video. I would have actually uploaded it and played it just so we could see the kind of person that he is. And by the way, for everybody watching, this same pastor was arrested a few weeks ago, and there's an investigation actually going on right now, and some sort of a DNA test that's been done because somebody that Lucia here is familiar with was also a victim, and the case was reported to a police, and he was arrested, but then he got released, and not sure where he is right now, but there's an investigation going on. So we're not bringing you a story that is not credible. So we're not just bringing you accusations here. That's not what we do. That's not what I do here in Solomon's Temple. We're bringing you stuff that's been investigated, that is ongoing. There is a lot of substance to it. Even him, we tried to call him, but his phone is like switch off. It's like he's changed his number or something, because there's been a lot of pressure on him the last few weeks. So she's not the first victim. She's not the only victim. But let me backtrack a little bit, Lucia. When this whole thing started happening, why didn't you think about sharing this with anyone?
Because of the curse thing that he has put on me, and because I don't know whether it's because I had so much faith in God, and I believe that if a man of God curses you, then you become useless in life and all that. And I don't know whether it's because of the camouflage of him being a pastor and all that. I just don't know. At the moment, I was not even thinking about reporting or anything. But I can tell you that it was always in my mind to speak out because I was dying every single day inside. But then because of the curse and the fear that was instilled in me, I was unable to.
Did he ever tell you he loved you and he would want to have a relationship with you or marry you? Has he ever used those words?
No, he has never. He only said it now, like now recently. That's what he's telling people, that he wanted to marry me. That is exactly what he's telling people now, but he has never said it to me.
Not once. Well, there's so many times that he has, had intercourse
No,
with you in his will.
instead, if you want to see that a man can really be wicked and disrespectful at the same time, this man will actually come to me and tell me that there's a woman he wants to marry. He was supposed to get married last year in April. There was a woman that he even told me, he's in Nigeria. The woman, she's in Nigeria. He told me that there's a woman that he wants to marry. So every single time, if there's a lady that he wants to propose to, he will tell me that there's a lady that he wants to propose to. But then when time goes by, you'll see that the thing does not work out. The thing that just dies like that.
How are we sure this man is not married in Nigeria? Because we have quite a lot of Nigerians who come to South Africa who actually left their wives back home, and they come here pretending they're not married, and then they get married here, maybe get papers or whatever, and then later on you discover they are married back home in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's true. We wouldn't know.
So now, when this happens, how many times would you say he did this to you, forcing himself on you?
I think I've even lost count.
Mm.
Um, I've lost count. Should be from 2017, 18, 19, in
So
20
it's because
years.
you worked closely with him as part of the media team and also his secretary, right from
Mm, mm,
your last year in high school. Uh,
mm.
so you, where are some of the places where he did this to you?
It was in lodge. He used to stay in a lodge in Uville. He used to stay in a
Okay.
lodge in Uville, and he had an apartment in Balfour. That's where he used to stay, which he moved out this year, early this year.
And where
And
else?
also in the church and in the resident pastor's place.
Now tell me about the residence pastor. She is female
Mhm.
and he's using her place you know, to violate you. Who is the
Mhm.
resident pastor? What's her name? Let's talk about her.
Her name is Evangelist Jane Meribe,
Is she South African, Nigerian?
Nigerian. They both come from the same state.
And how are we sure she's not aware of what he does to girls and even herself? Maybe she either was a victim or she was somebody that maybe his girlfriend.
Yeah, I know for a fact that she knows what this man is doing to ladies, and I know for a fact that she's also a victim or still a victim even now because they share a very close relationship. That's number one. And then for a resident pastor to be seeing all these things happening and for her to be keeping quiet, that means she's also protecting herself.
Hmm. And I have a problem when
Yeah,
a female doesn't really, a woman doesn't help other younger women when it comes to this kind of
that's true.
abuses and all that. Now, what was the process of him saying you're going to be cursed, that you should swear? Let's talk about the swearing first before we even talk about the cursing, where he would ask you to stand on the Bible and swear. What was that all about? How did that happen? Tell me about the process and what did he say? What are his words exactly?
Okay, so it was the first pregnancy, right? It was the first pregnancy. So
That's the twin.
I was yeah, I was
Yeah.
literally scared because I mean, I did not even know what was going on and everything. So I was literally scared. And I don't know whether he felt like I was going to speak and probably tell someone, maybe a friend or something, that I'm pregnant or something, because this man used to monitor me. If I talk about monitoring, like if he calls me on phone and then maybe I'm speaking on phone, I'm at school, I'm in university, and he hears a background of a male voice, he's going to call on video call, or he's just going to lose it, like literally get angry and just lose it to the point where you even suspend me in some of the duties that I'm doing in church. So on that day when he made me to swear on the Bible, he asked me to stand on it and swear that I will never tell anyone what is going on between us. I will never speak. I will keep it to me until I die. Because if I say to anyone, then your mother's life will be in danger. You know, God healed your mother. So if you want God to still save your mother, you will need to obey your prophet. He used the scripture on me that says, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. That's what he said to me. And then he told me that if you try any mistake and say anything to anyone, I will know. I'm a spiritual man. Whatever you do, I will know. If you're standing with someone or speaking to someone, I will know. So if you try to say to anyone, you will see how you will just useless your life.
But Lucia, you know, it doesn't work like that scripturally in the Bible where a man of God will curse you or you swear to sin. He just sinned against God and sinned against you and inflicted pain on you. And he is trying to protect himself and trying to tell you if you do anything, this is what's going to happen to you. That's not that's That's witchcraft. That's not the Christian living, Christian living. That's not the Christian way of life. That's witchcraft, So it's totally bringing witchcraft. We brought in fear into your life because he knows you're young, that
Mm.
is the highest level of wickedness. And we must all look at this, everybody watching. There's no man of God that can curse you. There's no man of God that has an authority to curse you. Anybody, man of God, that says he wants to curse you, he's actually trying to tell you he's trying to use witchcraft on you. And you knowing your identity and your authority in Christ, you tell them no. You pray and dismiss it. It's as simple as that. They don't they have no power to commit any evil against you until you permit them. And fear gives them permission. So you have no reason to live in fear. You have no reason to believe whatever, and he's trying to curse you and all that. Does he have friends? Who are his friends?
I don't think he has friends. I've never seen any of his friends. I only know his right-hand man, which is also a Nigerian, his Nigerian brother.
Now, how did you feel every time he forced himself on you and you live there? How did you feel
Every
about
single time.
him? How did you feel about God? How did you feel about yourself?
Yeah, that's a very great question, because from the very first day this thing happened, my faith in God depreciated. Not even depreciate, it went off completely. Because when I got home, the first question I asked myself was like, so God literally allowed this entire thing to happen. So I've been keeping my virginity so that I can be raped by a man of God. Is that how it was supposed to be? So from the very first day it happened, I just lost faith. I was just going to church because I have to. Otherwise, I was no longer going for God. I was no longer going for anything, but I was just going because I have to. Because if I don't go, he's going to call me. Because I also used to have the church keys. So I used to lock and open the church. So the thing really affected me a lot, to the point whereby every time he does this intercourse, I'll be crying. Every time he does it, I'll be crying. And then every time I see men, there's just this disguise. I hated men with all my heart. And I used to tell him, because I used to have suitors that will come to church and say they want to marry me. I had 4 people that came to church, 2 pastors and 2 members that came to church and said they wanted my hand in marriage. And he will tell them that he will speak to me. And then when he comes to me, he will say, you can never get married. You're still a student. You're still in school. You're still young. You need to pursue your degree first. Forget marriage, this, and that. And then in my mind, I'll be like, he says I should not get married, but then he still keeps on coming to feed on me. The same person is saying, I'm still young, I need to pursue my degree. So, how am I actually pursuing it if he's constantly making me pregnant, making me abort? At least if I was married, all these things wouldn't have been a sin. So, it got to a point where I just hated men with all my heart, with a passion. The thing really the thing really was eating me so much that I think I suffered depression for 2 good years. That I was isolated and I was not speaking to anyone or everything. I only decided to open up this year. And I believe that I wouldn't have opened up had it been I never actually came across a victim that actually went through what I went through. So I think because of that victim that I actually encountered, that was the reason why I was able to speak out.
Now, tell me about, this is the pastor here that we're talking about. He calls himself Senior Prophet Kizito Amadi, of DCC, Discipleship Church. This is their logo here, Discipleship Church of Christ in Hillbrow in Johannesburg. Tell me about, you waited until you were 18, you were still a virgin because you're preserving yourself, and then he took away your virginity. How did you feel when you know that? Because most 18-year-old like you have lost their virginity long time ago, especially,
Yeah, that's true.
in the kind of society we live in today. But you kept your virginity. And then a so-called man of God who you trusted forced himself on you. You're not in a relationship with him, never intended to be in a
Mm,
relationship.
mm.
Forced someone you trusted, you saw him as a mentor, as a spiritual father, forced himself on you and took away a gift that you have for yourself and hopefully for your husband in future. How did you feel about that? Just the incident of him taking away your purity.
I literally do not know, but all I know is that I was shattered. I had the thoughts in my mind that I would have just I shouldn't have kept it if I knew that such thing was going to happen in my life. I shouldn't have kept it. I should have just not went to church. I even regretted the day I stepped my foot in that church. The first day it happened, I regretted it with all my life. And I kept on telling him, I kept on telling him how much I hate men. I kept on telling him how much I regret coming into this church. And every time I would speak like that, he would tell me that it's not me that is speaking, I'm double. It's actually a demon that is speaking through me.
Hmm. Pure manipulation and deception there. But you managed to go to
Exactly.
school, and are you graduated from university now?
No, I'm doing my last year,
Okay, what are you studying?
business administration.
That's good. So you're studying, which is a good thing. You never really allowed that to break you up. Did you ever have any sort of suicidal thoughts or
Yes, I
thoughts
did
of
a lot. A lot.
have?
I've attempted to commit suicide almost, if not 10 times, then I've lost count. I've attempted every time I'll come from his place or the church or wherever, every time he just enters me and comes out. When I reach home, it's all suicidal thoughts. I've tried to do the medication one. I've taken almost 50 medication at once. I just mixed all the medication that we had at home, tablets, and I tried to take them. Instead, I thought I was going to die. That's what I wanted. But then it didn't happen. I just felt sick and I started vomiting. And then I think I vomited the entire medication out. And then I tried again, still the same method of medication. Throughout, I've been trying it, and there was just nothing happening, and I was getting more and more frustrated.
Hmm. Hmm. Which is very sad, where trying to take your life for a reason that was not created by you, but by somebody who you trusted, someone who called himself a man of God. And it's quite pathetic and sad that a lot of young women like you go through that. Some people go through depression and they never recover. Some people go through isolation from God, from anything concerning God, and they never step their foot back in church again. And they begin to live a life that they don't care about anything. And you see them getting into, practices and behaviors that is totally ungodly. But somewhere they were wounded, and somewhere somehow someone inflicted a pain on them. And you made mention of your Ubaba. What happened between you and Ubaba? Was that your father? Was that your stepfather?
No, it was my real dad. I think I was 12. I was 12 or 13. He also attempted to rape me, but he was just touching my thighs. Not that he penetrated, but he was just doing all those uncomfortable acts.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
And when this pastor, the prophet now did that on you, it reminded you of what you experienced and when you were 13, isn't it?
exactly. And on the day we joined the church, me and my mom actually told him the story of my father. So I never really expected him to do that because I told him how my dad almost did, but he did not. He almost, because he was holding me all those uncomfortable touches and all that. And we told him, the prophet, when we entered the church. So I never really expected such acts from him.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, you decided to come out, but there's a story behind it for you to even have the the motivation to come out to your mother? Why did you come out to your mother?
The reason why I decided to speak out, I think I mentioned that was because I encountered a victim also. So, because all along I've been thinking that I'm the
That's
only one.
another of his victim.
Yes. The
Okay.
same victim who opened a case for him, the case that is ongoing now.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the case, but talk about how you came out to your mother.
Mm. Okay, so after speaking to the lady that also encountered the same thing, then I just decided to text my mother and speak to her and just drop the bomb because I know it's something that's going to shock her and hurt her so much because she also trusted the prophet. It didn't expect such from him.
Mm, mm, How did she feel about it when you shared that with her?
She was actually broken. She cried. She was so broken to the point whereby because she actually trusted me. That's how the relationship we had, me and her, was so strong. So she believed that I'm sharing everything with her. So I think she just felt a bit of betrayal coming from me that I've been going through all this thing alone and I never shared it with her because my mother
Mm,
still thought, even now at 22, that I'm still a virgin. So little did she know that I'm no longer a virgin and it's not even in my own terms, but because I was molested by a person that she also trusted. So she really felt shattered and she just advised me that I should leave the church and she will also leave because she just can't bear to look at that man again.
When was that? When did you tell her?
I told my mom it was in January, I think on the 29th or 30th of January.
Mm. And tell me about the friend who opened the case that led to his arrest, and there's investigation going on now, even though he is not under detention.
Okay, she's my close friend and we work hand in hand. We used to work hand in hand in church. So she's married. She's a married woman with 3 children.
She's a
So
married
it's like
woman with 3 children,
yeah, yeah, she's a
and he
married
was
woman with 3 children.
doing all that to her.
Yeah. So apparently it's like the third child. The third
This man,
child is not for the husband. Yes. The third
what
child
is
is
wrong
not
with
for the
him?
husband, but it's for him. It is for this man. So what happened was that when he realized that the girl is pregnant, she gave the girl money to go and abort, but the girl did not abort because it was actually too late for her to abort. The stomach was like 5 months or 6 months or so. So the last child of the girl is for him. So when the husband went to do DNA tests, because the rumors were now trending and everything was now showing, so the wife decided to speak out. And then they went to the police station and opened a case and they did DNA test with the husband and the child was not a match with the husband. They did DNA test with him, the prophet. So which the results I think are coming next week because it was the government results. So I think the results will come next week and then they will see. But he's still under all his documents, the passports and everything, they're under police custody.
So the police have taken away. Oh, let's even backtrack. So there was suspicion. The woman is a married woman. He's been,
Mm,
forcing himself on her. She never told anyone.
mm,
Got pregnant. Gave her money to
mm,
abort. Didn't abort
mm,
because it was too late. Now the husband have done a DNA test for the third child that he had with his wife and discovered that the
mm.
baby is not his baby.
Yes, it's not a match.
So the 2 kids are his, but the third kid is not his. So it's somebody else's baby.
Mm,
And
exactly.
she said, well, this is the man that has been forcing himself on me, the prophet.
Mm-hmm,
And now
mm-hmm,
they took his, maybe his blood too, or whatever, to go do a DNA test. That's what they're waiting for
mm.
right now, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Or maybe his saliva or his hair or whatever. I know they can
They took
do
the
that.
saliva.
Yeah. So now when he went to the police, when the police went to him, they took away his passports and everything. He's under police
Mm.
custody.
Yes, because he was arrested in church. The police came and collected him from church. It was a church service. They came and collected him inside church.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so they kept the documents with them, which is the passport for him, so that I don't know whether he doesn't get to flee the country or something until
Yes.
the
Yes.
results are out. Yeah.
Yes. But he's a criminal. He's a crook, so he's gonna create another way of fleeing the country if he wants. I wouldn't be surprised he hasn't fled yet, because that's gonna be. He knows that if he gets arrested, uh, that's gonna be. He's gonna go into prison for a long time. He's gonna go away for a long time. So
Mhm.
he's just gonna do the Bushiri style and run away. I wouldn't be surprised. But you went to. You got invited to the police station to write a statement. What was that about?
I got invited there because the lady that opened the case actually mentioned my name. So whether I don't know whether in the statement when she was writing, I think the police asked if she thinks there's another victim that is also went through the same thing. And then she mentioned my name and told them that I actually spoke to her, which was this year. The same time I spoke with my mother, I also spoke to her. And she also told me her own story, and I told her my own story. So I got invited to the police station. I went there and they took down my statement.
Okay. And do you intend to
Mhm.
open your own case? Because I feel you have a case. You have a strong case. There's a lot of atrocities that happened to you through this man. You were a virgin 18-year-old, and he just kept using you as a slave over and over again, use you and abuse you just because you trust him. So are you going to open a case, or are the police going to
Mhm.
investigate your issue also? Can you hear me?
I honestly don't know what is actually delaying them because I believe that after giving out that statement, the very next day or the same day, I would have been given a case number. But I was not
Yes.
given a case number. Yes, I
You have
can.
to Yeah, you have to try and go and open your own case, not supporting affidavit to her own
Can you
case.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So you have to try to open your own case. It shouldn't be you just supporting her own case. So you're giving a supporting affidavit. No. But here you are trying to open your own case. This is what happened to me. This is my story. And I think for me, that's what I would encourage you to do right now. Try, go open
Okay.
a case as soon as possible, because you have a case. When you have so many cases against him, you have to have your own case, not riding on her own case. Her own case is different. Your own case is different. That way we can get other girls who have
Okay.
experienced the same thing, could now like, oh wow, if they're opening their cases, this part, the threats and the curses and the stuff that he has asked us to swear about, we're not afraid of him anymore. So you're breaking the cycle of fear, just so other girls can come out to and go and open a case.
Okay, I will do so.
So please go and find out, and please let me know. I need to know. I want to follow up and support you on that. So for you right now, what's the way forward? How do you feel? What's the way forward? Have you received any sort of counseling?
No, I haven't.
Because you need counseling.
I do.
You will need counseling. That's very important. And I'll have to try to arrange that for you. Uh, or if any counselors who are here, even if you're not in South Africa or whatever part of the world you are, if you're a professional, I need a professional counselor, not just a counselor. I know a couple of professional counselors, but I'm giving people the opportunity. If you're a professional counselor, wherever you are, you can always do counseling via Zoom or whatever. Please let me know, just so we can really, because there are a lot of issues that you might think you've forgotten or you've gone past it, but it's going to be there, you know. And until you deal with it, you're gonna struggle with it later on in your relationship with men, in your relationship with church, in your relationship with your husband when you get married, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to a lot of young girls who go to church and trust their pastors, or young girls that have been one way or the other uh, been abused and they don't want to speak out. What do you want to say to them? Your last word.
Well, okay, my last words, because I have two younger siblings and they are both girls. So I would say to any young girl or any lady or woman that is out there, whenever you go to church, always know that you are going to church. Don't start building a relationship with the pastor. Like, don't start working in his office or working closely to him. These men, they come here as pastors, camouflaged as pastors, but there's a lot that goes on behind closed doors. And when such thing happens to you, I believe a person needs to speak out. It's never too late to speak out. I believe so. It's never too late. There is no sin. I mean, there's no time where you say it happened years ago, so no one will believe me. There is no evidence and all that. It's never too late. The matter of fact is that you were molested, you were violated, and it was never your agreement. It was never in your knowledge. So you just have to speak out. That's it.
Mm, mm. Thank you, and please put me, keep me in the loop with the case. Whatever happens to your case or the case of your other friend, or the police. If the police is not doing their job, then we need to expose that, just so they're going to be able to. Because at the end of the day, you don't want a crisis where the police will be bribed and the case will just disappear or go away. We're not going to allow that. We're going to take this to
Yeah.
wherever we need to take this to. But I want to thank you, and may God continue to bless you. May He help you to deal with this. As a young lady, may you come out of it stronger, and only God can restore you. So God wasn't the one who put you in this situation. God didn't fold His arms and watch you, being abused. No, it's a man that He has given authority and delegated authority that abused the power that God. He did it in the name of God, and God has nothing to do with it. You standing in the Bible and swearing, Him telling you this and all that. God has nothing to do with this. It's just evil, pure evil. So please see it that way. And may God just restore your relationship with Him. Thank you, Lucia.
Thank you so much.
That's Lucia right there, just sharing with us her experiences. Like I said again in the beginning, sometimes you wonder why South Africans do not tolerate or have some sort of negative attitude towards pastors and prophets who are from Nigeria, Ghana, or Kenya. And this is one of the reasons. I'm not saying some South African pastors or prophets wouldn't do the same thing that this Nigerian prophet did. But at the same time, when you are being hosted in a place, in a nation that is not your original nation, as a guest, you need to be able to follow the rules and whatever is laid down there. That is very important. And there are a lot of young girls, and we must not be afraid to speak out. So if you have a story, or anybody that have a story, please share it with me, inbox me, send me a message, and we can take a look at it. This is what we are called to do. We're called to talk about the truth. That's the whole thing. People are taking me to court left, right, and center to stop me from sharing this kind of things. And by the way, let me mention it here. I actually just discovered something today, that no, let me just leave it. It's a case between me and Joshua Maponga, Bishop Joshua Maponga, who has a girlfriend outside of his marriage, and he calls himself a bishop. Went to court, and it seems like the court just dismissed the case, suing me for 5 million. But I just saw a document that the court dismissing the case. But I'll find time to talk about that. And because a lot of these pastors and prophets, they think they can just go to take me to court and silence me, or take me to court and have their way. It doesn't work that way. I would fight you. I would fight you to the very end. I will fight you in prayer. I will fight you spiritually. I'll fight you using the media. I will fight you using the courts, because I'm fighting for truth, because I'm fighting for what is just. I'm fighting against your evil deeds, what you were trying to cover and make a secret. I'm fighting against you bringing the name of the Lord into disrepute. That's what it's all about. And you hear a story like Lucy is a young 18-year-old virgin being abused several times, got pregnant twice with twins and all that. And this man was pushing her to go terminate it. Now you're 22 and you had 2 pregnancy termination again, 3 babies gone, a set of twins and then 1. What evil is that? And you call yourself a senior prophet. I get so cross and very angry anytime I talk about this. Because the things that really get me angry is injustice and where there's no truth. If you want to see me angry, that's the best place. And we have to get angry about that. We don't just turn a blind eye to it. None of my business. Oh, well, he's a man of God. He's also human. No. But anyway, that's what I want to share with you tonight. I want to thank you and say, and say, look, wherever you are, please try to make a difference. Speak truth. Whichever man of God is there, speak truth to power. So thank you so much. May the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you. May you continue to be a beacon of hope to so many. May you not be quiet when you see evil, but may you speak out because you're speaking out in truth. God bless you.